Single dad mechanic helps a female cop. Next day he found her cleaning his house. The knock on the garage door came just before closing time, sharp, urgent, and unexpected. Mark Dawson wiped the grease from his hands and stepped out from under the hood of a half-repaired Ford. As a single dad, closing late wasn't unusual. Every extra hour meant school supplies, groceries, maybe a little savings for his 8-year-old daughter Lily's future. When he opened the door, he saw her. A female police officer stood beside her patrol car, shoulders tense, jaw set, but there was something else in her eyes. Not authority, not control. Worry. My car won't start, she said quietly, and I'm supposed to be back on duty in an hour. Mark glanced at the cruiser. He could have said he was closed. He could have told her to call the city tow truck and gone home to make dinner for Lily. But instead, he grabbed his toolbox. Pop the hood, he said. Her name tag read Officer Elena Ramirez. She looked to be in her early 30s, composed but exhausted. While Mark worked, she stood nearby, arms folded against the cool evening air. Long shift, he asked. She hesitated. Long week. Mark didn't push. He understood long weeks. After his wife passed away 3 years ago, long weeks had turned into long years. Balancing parenting and running a small-town auto shop wasn't easy, but quitting had never been an option. Within 30 minutes, he had diagnosed the issue: a failing alternator and a loose connection. I can fix it tonight, he said. No charge. Officer Ramirez frowned. You don't even know me. Mark shrugged. Car trouble doesn't care who you are. She studied him for a moment, then nodded slowly. Thank you. As he worked, Lily came out from the office with her homework in hand. She waved shyly at the officer. Hi, Lily said. Officer Ramirez's face softened instantly. Hi there. There was something in that exchange, something unspoken, a quiet recognition. An hour later, the cruiser roared back to life. You just saved my shift, Officer Ramirez said, and maybe my record. Mark smiled. Just doing my job. She insisted on paying, but he refused. Then at least let me repay you somehow, she said. Mark shook his head. Just stay safe out there. She drove off into the night. Mark didn't think much more about it. Until the next morning. He unlocked the front door of his modest home just after dropping Lily at school and froze. The scent of lemon cleaner filled the air. The kitchen counters were spotless. The dishes from last night were washed and stacked. The living room, usually scattered with toy blocks and laundry waiting to be folded, was perfectly organized. And standing by the sink, sleeves rolled up, was Officer Elena Ramirez. Mark blinked. What are you doing? She turned, slightly embarrassed but smiling. You said no payment, so I improvised. He stepped inside slowly, confused. You broke into my house. She laughed softly. You left your spare key under the flower pot. You might want to change that. Mark ran a hand through his hair, half amused, half stunned. You cleaned my house. She nodded. You mentioned you haven't had a day off in months. I figured this might help. He looked around again. The house wasn't just clean. It felt lighter. Why would you do this? He asked quietly. Officer Ramirez's expression shifted, not guarded now, but vulnerable. Because last night, she said, I was coming from the hospital. Mark's chest tightened. My dad's in critical condition, stroke, she swallowed. I was trying to hold it together. Your kindness, it wasn't about the car. It reminded me that there are still good people out there, and I needed that reminder. Silence filled the room. For the first time, Mark saw not the uniform but the person. You didn't have to do this, he said gently. I know, she replied. That's the point. At that moment, Lily burst through the door after school, stopping short when she saw the officer. You're the police lady, Lily exclaimed. Officer Ramirez knelt down, guilty. Lily looked around. "Daddy, the house looks amazing." Mark smiled faintly. "Yeah, it does." Over the next hour they sat at the small kitchen table. Coffee for the adults, juice for Lily. Officer Ramirez shared stories about growing up in a hardworking immigrant family in Chicago. Mark talked about raising Lily alone after losing his wife. Different lives, different battles. Same exhaustion. Same love. Before leaving, Officer Ramirez handed Mark an envelope. "What's this?" he asked. "Not money," she said quickly. "It's a voucher. The department runs a community program, free after-school tutoring and activity support for children of single parents. Lily qualifies. I made a call." Mark stared at the paper. "You did that for us." "You helped me when you didn't have to," she said. "This is me doing the same." Emotion rose in his throat, unexpected and overwhelming. For years, Mark had carried everything alone: the bills, the repairs, the bedtime stories, the quiet grief. He never asked for help. Pride, maybe. Or fear. But here was someone offering support, not out of obligation, but gratitude. "You don't even know us," he said. Officer Ramirez smiled softly. "I know enough." As she walked toward the door, she paused. "You know," she added, "kindness travels. It just takes one person to start it." Weeks passed. Her father slowly stabilized. Lily began attending the after-school program, thriving in ways Mark hadn't anticipated. Her grades improved. She laughed more. And occasionally, a patrol car would swing by the garage, not for repairs, but to say hello. What started as a broken alternator turned into